Run. Okay. Next news. Guess who I'm about to talk about, Grant?
Our sponsors of the show. It should be.
We don't have any sponsors.
But it should
Honestly,
be. It should be a sponsor.
Ubisoft ought to be a sponsor for
That's
us.
what I'm saying, because we talk about them more than anything.
Yeah. Okay. So guess who we're talking about? We're talking about Ubisoft.
Mm-hmm.
Again. Okay. So Ubisoft runs to your New York Times to attack players in defense of Assassin's Creed Shadow.
You notice they didn't run to the New York Post.
No, they did not. They ran to their friends at the New York Times to
Correct.
defend them.
Correct.
And their basically interpretation of history in Japan.
They probably just,
any real Japanese historians for their game.
This is what
They
happened.
got a white guy
to
be their historian.
I know. Here's the thing is, so this is what I imagine the guy did. He walked into the New York Times and said, "Racism," and everybody flocked toward him, like, "What's the story?
Oh,
What's
boy.
it was like throwing food at a flock of seagulls and watching them all fight over it."
Exactly. Okay. All right. So let's so anyway, all right, so this is a common thing that companies do, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, these companies get a backlash for something they might have put out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's totally normal. All companies do this.
They do this, and they immediately, once the fans or fans of an IP, they start hitting back at them like, "Hey, what is wrong with y'all?"
Mm-hmm.
Guess who they go to?
I know.
They go to major publications, and the major publications do the gatekeeping hard time,
yeah.
boy. They are in 24/7 mode protecting you.
Matter of fact, nobody does this, but people who can't handle the truth.
It's the fans that are wrong. The fans are wrong about everything.
What happened? But here's the thing:
have immersed themselves into these IPs are wrong.
Eventually, they're going to lose all their fans. Then who they're going to blame?
I don't know. All right. So anyway, Ubisoft went to the New York Times. Basically, what they wrote was, or they kind of responded to fans, was some gamers erupted over his appearance. They're talking about Yasuke. Convinced that the franchise. All right. First off, they didn't. Let's get this clear. The majority of the pushback on Yasuke being the main character is not because of his appearance. It's because he's an African-American samurai during a feudal age when you had so many different choices to go with. For a game based in feudal Japan,
correct.
This is a discussion.
Yep.
It's not about his skin color.
No.
Stop it.
Yep.
It's not about
it's the choice that you made when you didn't make the choice that should have been made.
Okay. So anyway, to continue. So some gamers erupted over his appearance, convinced that the franchise, known for its immersive recreations of the past, had gone woke. This is what they're saying to the New York Times. By including a black character in its depiction of 16th century Japan. Okay, yes, exactly. You just hit it right there with the 16th century Japan.
What country was that again?
Japan.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So let me ask you a question. Has anybody seen Shogun and how they treated their foreigners that showed up to their country?
I would hope so. And if you haven't seen Shogun, you definitely need to watch that because that is a well done series, dude.
Correct.
Obviously. What did it get, like 15?
18 Emmys.
18? Golly.
For one season.
Oh, it's a great show, though.
Fantastic. And guess what it doesn't have in it?
What's that?
Doesn't have any inclusion, any in this other stuff. It is a Japanese show about Japanese samurais.
What'd you say?
Oh. White guy from Mississippi. Trump.
You saying there's Japanese people in Japan?
Wait, would you say, you Trump supporter? You know what's funny is that we no longer talk about the Bloods and the Crips anymore. It's all about the Democrats and Republicans. That's the new gangs.
That is the new gangs, and it's getting bloody out there.
I'm telling you, man.
All right. Okay. So then he goes on to claim that developers received personal attacks and death threats during an online harassment campaign.
Oh.
Okay. Well, first off, a lot of people don't know who their individual developers are for the fucking game.
I know.
All right, so if they receive death threats, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry you got talked too bad to on LinkedIn.
You received harassment on
at LinkedIn because that's the only way people would know that they developed the game because they haven't all their shit.
All right, so I'm gonna go call bullshit on most of this. I'm pretty sure there was maybe some, but let's not talk about like it's mass scale harassment and death threats to people. They don't know. I don't know who developed this game personally. I know Ubisoft did.
I'm sorry that a bank teller on LinkedIn told you that you told you that you suck.
Yeah, someone on Twitter, you suck, and
I
then
know.
they're like, "Oh my god, harassment!"
Racist.
Yes. Okay. All right. So anyway, Ubisoft. All right. First off, your main source of history that you were touting for so long was Thomas Lockley. Was this white guy who then came back? We found out a couple months ago that most of the stuff wasn't actually factual, and he personally said that. And then he
He just
just
made it up.
disappeared.
He just
And
asked
now,
ChatGPT and then walked away.
let's keep the track record going. We're going to keep receipts here. Thomas Lockley, that their historian that they touted so much. Also, now this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. This guy said that he did not collaborate with Ubisoft at all on this game. This guy literally appeared on their history podcast. Ubisoft has this like history podcast for the Assassin's Creed. He was on there talking about history.
Can you know? And you know he got paid
he
for
was
that.
working with Ubisoft on this.
You know he got paid for that.
Well, whatever. But I mean, like this is their guy. And then after him, he failed. They ran and got this like radical communist from Japan to be their history guy.
He's like, he was like anti-Japan.
It's hilarious.
He was like the most anti-Japanese guy.
I mean, like you can't make this up. I mean, they're trying to find historians to justify using Yasuke as a major political thing, as a legendary samurai with 15 months of training. He's their go-to. That's out of all the samurais you could have picked from, or just created a totally different character in that time period, a Japanese character. I mean, why not? Why can't you do simple things like this?
I'm going to say this again. 15 months of training against people who've done this their whole entire lives, you're not beating anybody
You're
at
dead.
all. You're dead. If you killed anybody, they were either had no legs or arms, or they were asleep, or they were already dead, and you just happened to stab them while they were already dead.
Exactly. All right. So anyway,
Now,
Ubisoft.
hold on. Let me just back this up real quick. Now, could he have been bigger? Sure. Could he have been stronger? Possibly. But when you have a skill that's been trained for so long, that doesn't matter. You're still getting judoed around, I promise you.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. You put someone my size, 6'5", give me a samurai sword, make me time travel back to feudal Japan, and make me fight a samurai master or whatever.
Yeah, you're getting killed.
I'm dead.
If you took you and put you against some 5'6" Muay Thai master, you're still getting beat. Bad.
My head's cracked open. Yeah, so I mean, like, but they always, and Ubisoft also stated, well, we try to provoke realism and try to pull real history and stuff. Well, you're not.
Yeah,
really
we didn't promote
that.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is, it's like you didn't promote real history because there was literally a stack of historic samurais.
Listen, when your game gets into Japanese litigation, the government, the Diet is what their legislative branch is called. When the Diet is thinking about making litigation towards you, it's bad. And then when you have a Japanese reenactment that you stole their flag from, their banner, their symbol from, suing you basically, which I'm not sure where they're at on that process, but when all these things are happening to your game, you're not doing it right at all.
Well, wait till Ubisoft makes Assassin's Creed with William Wallace as a Japanese woman.
Yep.
And then they're going to be like, well, actually, we have a Scottish historian here that says, don't watch Braveheart. That wasn't the real story. We actually have historians from Scotland that say
he actually wasn't a Scottish man,
and he wasn't even it was a Japanese woman.
I mean, that we were laughing about this, but that's something that they would find some crazy nutcase.
Oh yeah,
that has a historian or a history degree and do that.
Yep. We actually dug up the tomb of William Wallace.
Their version of history.
Yeah, we actually dug up the tomb of William Wallace, and we did all this stuff on the skeletons and found out that he had no penis. Fuck, man.
Dude, the lengths they will go to
They would too.
revise
They
history
would.
is insane.
They would.
Oh yeah, and actually, Ubisoft. Hell, you remember the Wikipedia page?
Hmm.
Well, that's locked.
Oh yeah.
Boy, you can't touch that thing nowadays. They have truly changed history.